Facebook, and we're live on YouTube. So we're gonna get more people coming in.
Right
So,
on. Let's hope Andre can make his way back in at some
yeah.
point.
So Andre gets back. So together, Andre Cruz and Chris Lujan bring a fusion of heartfelt vocals and masterful instrumentation, promising an unforgettable night of Souldies After Dark. Of course, we're going to talk more about Souldies After Dark and what to expect from everybody. But let's talk more about you, Chris.
Okay.
Let's talk about burgers, greasy, and fries.
All of that stuff. Well, that's from my side project called Life of Grime, on the New Tone label, and that was me just trying to write like '90s style hip hop, albeit instrumental. There's no one's rapping on it or anything. There he is.
All right, there he is.
So yeah, that's a different project that is, like I said, like maybe like instrumental hip hop is what I would call it. But some people hear it and they think it just sounds like my other stuff, just without vocals. So some, like my son will tell me it's just soul music. It's no different. So I'm like, I don't know.
Soul music. So Andre, we were talking. Can you hear us, Andre? You good?
Oh,
you had to jump back on. You had to jump back out.
He's like, why are you talking about that other stuff?
Okay, so this show features two heavy hitters in the soul scene, on a powerhouse vocalist repping the Bay, now another master musician, producer, keeping it alive through groove as he touches. Andre Cruz and Chris Lujan. That's what we're talking about Thursday, sure. May 29th. And so what can we expect from the Andre Cruz, Chris Lujan experience?
Well, you can expect some exciting tunes and some heartfelt tunes. We'll go from, I don't want to say rocking because we don't really do like rock, but like it can get pretty hyped up in some of our songs. There's definitely some movers, but like you said, like you're playing Don't Go Acting a Fool, you're playing The Real Thing. There's like some real heartfelt stuff in there as well. So I guess we'll run the gamut from like, soul that's on fire and soul that's heartfelt, and it all has that like late 60s 70s sound to it.
Yeah.
Live instruments, there's no nothing sequenced, there's nothing playing behind us, it's just us live. So we'll have a 5-piece band: drums, I'll be playing bass, guitar, organ, and of course Andre on vocals.
Yeah, and Andre, all right, you good? You look like you're good now, man.
We'll find out. I'm gonna do my best. I downloaded the app. I signed in. I signed out. I apologize. Everybody.
Hey, it's okay. Hey, this is called live. This is called live radio, live podcast, or however you want to call it, right? This stuff happens in these things, right? Just like we're gonna be live on Thursday. What can we expect from you, Andre, on Thursday when we're live at Souldies After Dark?
What you can expect from me, a lot of energy. I making soul music is my favorite thing to do. It really, really is. And I feel so lucky that I'm able to do so with Chris, that I'm able to do so with the Black Diamond Rhythm Band, who I'm sure Chris has spoken about. I feel I feel so bad because I don't know if I'm going to be going over stuff Chris has already gone over.
All right, hey,
not yet.
All over again if you want. That's fine.
Gotcha. Yeah, take it from the top. No, I'm just playing.
Hi, I'm Chris Lujan.
But no, the Bay Area is one of my two homes, and we don't get the opportunity to play in the Bay as often as I would like to,
Very true.
And so it's really, really special, A, that we get to be there, B, that we get to be in Chris's hometown. In the beginning of Chris and I working together, I would introduce him as the king of Pittsburgh. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, long live the king. Like that's my man's, like, and he's bringing some really beautiful music on out to this area.
I've misplaced my crown.
the Burger King, your king of Pittsburgh crown.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, to answer your question, like what you can expect is some really good soul music. You can expect some really genuine sounds, some genuine feels, some genuine creation. Like everything that we do absolutely feeds off of and into the audience, like when they give us energy, we give them energy, and it's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. So I'm so excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right, let me ask you guys a question. So, how did you guys connect, and what was the moment you knew that this is going to be something special?
So for me, we connected, and I think we mentioned this at the top. Chris released the song "Don't Go Acting a Fool," which is off of the Real Thing album, but he released it as a single ahead of time. And I heard that, and I thought to myself, like, this is the guy that I want to be working with. Like this is the sound that I really want to capture with the stuff that I want to make. And in that creative process, in that collaborative process, we began to make some really, really beautiful stuff. Chris would present me with a song, and when you write a song, and even if it's just a demo, you kind of give it a little title just to kind of differentiate it from the other things you're creating. And Chris would give me a song, and the song is called, okay, so here's a song called Somewhere Else. You don't have to call it like it doesn't have to be about somewhere else, but here's what it is. And Chris's concepts and the music he was creating would fit so well with lyrics, and I would just be able to write something that fit beautifully. And I don't know for me if there was an exact moment where I was like, oh, this works. It was just the work never felt like work.
Right.
It always felt like play. It always felt like creativity. It was never an issue. When Chris was like, try this, it was never in a negative way. It was always like, push yourself a little further. And there's nothing wrong. Like I love that push. And I mean, here we are, what, 3 years later, 4 years later, and it's just I feel real lucky. So it's good stuff.
We're 6 years later.
6 years.
Jesus.
You guys been
Because
through pandemics and everything.
yeah, we started in 2019 working on Andre's EP. And like he said, we ended up working together on what ended up being this album. And it was just because working with Andre is like the first real vocalist I worked with, because everything before that was all instrumental. So now it's like, oh, I got a vocalist here. Okay, let me try to write some vocal tunes. And I was working on my solo album, and I didn't know what my solo album was going to be. It ended up being this,
Mm.
which is like 9 vocal tunes, which, in my mind, it started off as, oh, this is just going to be an instrumental album because that's what I do. And then working with Andre on his stuff, and then I got inspired to write my own stuff with Andre on it. And then it just, it became a vocal album with one instrumental tune on it. And then this is all during the pandemic when we were working on his stuff, we were working on my stuff. And I said, you know what, when things open up, maybe we should like do shows,
Yeah.
together. Like it was never meant to be that, but it like quickly was like, oh yeah, let's do that. And here we are.
Nice, nice. So what was it for you, Chris, about Andre that you said, man, I'm gonna start working with this guy?
Well, first off, he hired me basically.
All right.
But so like he came to me and it was like, oh great. Like, sorry, Andre, to put it like that, but it's like, oh great, I got a vocalist here. But also
I'm
he's
used
like,
to it. I'm used to it.
yeah, anyways, you hear how Andre sings, like he's the greatest. you know, he writes all the lyrics and stuff, so it's like I don't know, he was just like the perfect guy to do this stuff with me, and I hope I'm the same for Andre.
Yeah, sounds like you guys are, something about music. Music is not just, you can't just work with everybody, right? Just like how you said, Andre, you have to feel it, right? Music is a feeling. I've been in the industry since the 90s, and so I kind of understand. I've been on the radio side of things, right? And so I understand when some people just try to make it happen and it just falls apart automatically. So you have to feel the love. You have to make each other better as you.
Yeah.
Every time you get in the studio, you just got to have fun. And if you're not having fun, if you're not doing what you love, if you go there and it feels like a job, then you're in the wrong place, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, speaking personally, I've been lucky enough to work with a couple of musicians in my time, like just creators and producers and whatnot. And God bless and keep all of them, like truly and complete. Like I've never had a super negative experience, right? But I can honestly tell you that I've also had experiences where I'm like, this is cool, but this is not working. And with Chris, it was never a matter of Is this working? Is this not working? It was like, cool, that was great. What's the next one? Cool, that was great. What's the next one? You know. And Chris would continue to send me songs, and I would continue to write lyrics, and it just, again, like I said before, like there was never a moment like this is great. Like it was a moment of like, oh, cool, we're working. You know.
Yeah.
And so we just kept going.
Yeah, it really was like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
there's never, weirdly, there's like never enough for us. You know, what's next? What's next? Like we have so many songs.
like many artists, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all great artists have a plethora of music that they just haven't released. It's out there, right?
Yeah.
It's on your, probably even on your ADAX, right? Your old school ADAX.
Yeah.
You know, some tape out there somewhere. Have you guys pressed vinyl? I see you got your Real Thing vinyl. Have you pressed vinyl for DJs and stuff? Is it out there to you know?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like we pressed 45s and both, you know, for the public, we've pressed demo 45s. We've had a lot of people, both radio stations and folks, who are just like, "Yo, do you have CDs?" And so we like invested in CDs.
There you
You
go.
know, the full shebang event coming this summer. Just wait for the 8 tracks. They're on their way.
Yep.
The 8 tracks are coming, huh? All right. So, you know, it's great because we have, so actually for Souldies After Dark, which is May 29th, this Thursday coming up, we have Stone Soul. They're going to be DJing for us, and they're actually playing oldies on 45s.
Perfect.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So that's going to be cool. They're going to be opening the act. You'll see them as you guys are setting up because they'll be playing in between acts when Lon and Lana Kaz and Sin, when their band is done and you guys start setting up, Stone Soul will be playing, and it's pretty cool that they got a lot. They got a big following on social media, and so I've seen a lot of the stuff they've done.
Yeah, I mean that's the scene. Like people who are gonna come. If you don't know what you see DJs at Soul Nights, it's always 45s. You know, so that's what's gonna be happening in Pittsburgh. So if you want an authentic soul experience, I mean, here it is.
Here it is, right? I went out to some car shows yesterday. People are excited about coming out, right?
Yeah, very cool.
You know, one thing I could say about Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh supports Pittsburgh, right? So if you guys are watching this from a different city and you're wondering, are they talking about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? No, we're talking about a little town in Pittsburgh, California, a little town in Northern California, Bay Area, called Pittsburgh, California, with one of the best football teams in California, right? Definitely the best marching band in all of high school.
The
right?
two things that we're famous for.
Two things we're famous for. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I have no idea.
Oh my God! Look up the Pittsburgh High School Marching Band, the best marching band in probably all of high schools.
Yeah,
I would fight them for that. Yeah, I would fight over that one.
Next time we need a horn player, let's go to the high school, Chris.
We could. I mean, you know,
Like,
Rob. You know Rob Dellinger. He was the band director there for like a decade or so too. You know.
Okay. All right.
So, Chris, let me ask you a question. How do you keep your production soulful but fresh for new ears?
Well, it's as far as like getting like that old sound. I don't do anything to get that old sound. I've always had that old sound. Like I plug in the microphones, I put the microphones where I put them, you know, I run them through whatever equipment I run them through, and it just, for some reason, it just has that old sound already. So what I do, I guess it's, you know, there's classic chord changes that, you know, sometimes I get trapped in, even where I'm like, oh, I need to break out of this because it's, you know, it's the same thing over and over again sometimes, you know. But, you know, I guess there's a lot of new music coming out that is reminiscent of the old soul sound. That's what Souldies really is.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could look to the Kelly Finnegans and the Sacred Souls and, you know, all of those bands, and like you could draw from them as well. But I mean, I guess the best songs to me that I have come up with instrumentally and then Andre goes on to write lyrics for are the songs that just like come out, and I don't have a instrument in front of me. Maybe I'm just singing into my phone. because those ones come through me. If I have an instrument in front of me, sometimes I do get trapped in that repetitive same thing over and over again.
Hmm.
So to keep it fresh, I just, try to just let it happen. Just let the song present itself to me instead of me trying to force it. And
Okay.
then if it comes through me, I'm not copying something else because I'm not, anyway, it's hard to explain.
It just happens, right? It's magic.
Yeah, it's
Music
magic.
is magic. Music is magic. I write some songs myself, right? And
Mhm.
and my inspiration, believe it or not, is when I'm sleeping. Like
Yeah,
I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll go, oh my God, what was that? And I'll just start writing down
Mhm.
something, and then
right.
and then and then
Andre,
it, then it comes. I
Andre,
got
I don't know if you know this, but like, Don't Go Acting a Fool happened. I sang it into my phone over the course of a few days while walking my dog. That's
I
how that
remember you telling me about
happened.
that. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's just walking my dog, which I should probably do way more often. Think of all the songs I'd have. But yeah, like if I don't have music playing, like when I was walking the dog, I gotta be alert in case another dog comes running after me or something like that. No music playing, that's when the best songs come out.
Nice. So Andre, you're the vocalist.
Yes, indeed.
What are some of your idols when you were coming up?
So when I was, it's so funny. My cousin was just in town, and we were talking about how when we were younger, he was like super into Santana and a lot of these just Chicano sounds, and that kind of kept him out of trouble. And he was like, "Yeah, no, we were good kids." I'm like, "Yo, a lot of the kids I was growing up with, they were singing like." you know, NWA, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, all the good stuff. And look, yo, don't get me wrong, I love my hip hop, but also like I was out here listening to Stevie Wonder and having to explain to my friends how Songs of the Key of Life is the best album of all time. And they're
Yeah.
like, "What's an album?" I'm trying to listen to the single. I'm like, "You don't understand." So like it would be a lot like Stevie Wonder was definitely my number one. Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, the Temptations, just like all of that old, like for me, I really think about soul music as that Sunday morning, if we're not going to church, we're cleaning music. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's all that music that my mama had me listening to.
That cleaning
And
house music, right?
exactly, exactly. And so all of that means the world to me. And a special shout out to Stevie Wonder just because Stevie puts so much joy in his performance, in his lyrics, in the way he sings. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. I think putting joy into the way you perform is a really important thing, and so for me, that's definitely something I really try to do is not necessarily imitate Stevie, but certainly put joy into the things that we're doing because I mean, this is my favorite thing I get to do. You know what I'm saying? I get to sing soul music. Like it's a beautiful thing, and so I don't see any reason why I shouldn't just be joyful about it. So I think for me that's kind of where my influences come from.
And music brings joy to those listening to it too, right?
Sure, sure.
The old saying, music calms the savage, smooths, calms the savage beast, or whatever, however they used to say it.
Hmm.
But it does. I
Yeah.
mean, it's music is in our soul, and those who don't like music probably don't like life, right? So that
No, that's very true.
Yeah.
so let's talk one more time. One more question for you, Andre.
Yeah.
Do you write your own lyrics, and how does it come out when you're writing? Do you just find like a hook first, and then get a concept and kind of write to that, or explain your whole little solution that you do, your magic
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
potion?
So no, no, I definitely do. I write my own lyrics, and my inspiration and the process comes from a lot of different things. So, for example, the song that Chris and I wrote, "Brothers and Sisters of the World." That's like a disco. It's a funkier song. It moves quick, and that song, the first piece that came to me was the bridge, and a lot like Chris was talking about with "Don't Go Acting a Fool." I wrote that bridge on a whim before I even knew this song was going to be a thing. And I had the ideas like, let me get this down. So I wrote it all down. And then Chris was like, yo, I got the song idea. And I was like, yo, I got the perfect set of lyrics. And I put it in the middle and then I built from there. A song like The Real Thing. Chris sent this to me and he's like, yo, I got this idea for you. Let me know what you think. He sends it over. And normally I jump on these things right away just so I can make sure the inspiration gets there. But he sent me the real thing, and I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna write. And I didn't stress, I didn't worry. I was like, I was in Los Angeles at the time. I was like, I'm gonna get exactly what I need out of this. And so I think the next week I came back from Los Angeles back to the Bay, and I sat down and I wrote up the whole thing in about 30 minutes. And so it really just kind of depends on where a song is going to hit me, how I'm feeling. But at the end of the day, it's really drawing from personal experience. We're trying to create a story out of something that Chris is giving me. Now, Chris sent me the song, and he's like, "You need to call it this because this is the name of the song." And he sends me, "My back hurts from picking up the pieces of my broken heart." And I'm like, "You want me to write a song called My Back Hurts from Picking Up the Pieces of My Broken Heart?" He's like, "Yes, that's the title." Man, that one took me a minute.
But you know
now you're
what?
But
writing the movie.
I'm still very proud of what we came up with.
And you
Chris,
know
you
what?
stuck to your guns
So
as you do. And I'm very proud of it. I'm really proud of everything that we put together.
sure. So as the producer, and since we're talking about his writing of lyrics, I will
Mhm.
say 85% of the time he will come to me with like, okay, here's the lyrics. I'm gonna sing along. You let me know what you think. I would say 85% of the time I'm like, perfect, let's roll. You know, and then maybe those other 15% of the times we just like change one line here or there. But for the most part, he comes with the lyrics and they're solid, and it's just like, all right, let's set up a microphone, let's go. You know, Andre writes
Oh,
lyrics.
man, that's good. Look, we're gonna
He
get
does his
back.
best.
This is Soul Kitchen Radio. We got Chris Lujan. We got Andre Cruz in. We're gonna be back in 1 second because I want you guys to hear this commercial about what's happening on Thursday, May 29th. We'll be right back.
All right.
Pittsburgh, get ready to turn up the soul. Souldies After open at 7:30 p.m. Brought to you by Us TV Entertainment. This show will sell out. One night only. Souldies After Dark. Don't miss the soul. Don't miss the magic. We'll see you there.
See you there. We can't wait to see everybody there. And this Spanish version of the real thing. Is there going to be a lot? Can we expect a lot of Spanish coming into to the show on Thursday?
Okay, I'm gonna practice. um,
We haven't done a
yeah.
whole lot of Spanish live. Andre has dipped in a couple times, maybe
Mhm.
just a couple times. But yeah, I guess that's something we haven't really thought about much.
Yeah, I mean, because the real thing. When I heard the real thing in Spanish, I was like, oh my god, they remixed that in Spanish. That so it's beautiful. That's how you think about it. Like not like hip hop where you be like, oh my god, that's dope. This is beautiful to listen to, right? It's soothing to your soul, and I just love listening to it. You know.
Yeah, that was Andre's idea to do a Spanish version, and we got Adrian Carmine. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's pretty big in the Souldies scene as well. He's down in LA area. He's on the IMG label. He plays with Trish Toledo and a bunch of people, and he translated it for us, and you know he said we did a good job.
All right. So do you guys speak Spanish like fluently?
I don't.
Uh, I don't speak it fluently. I can understand it much better than I can speak it. I am half Latino, um, and that's the language of my folks. My mama speaks Spanish, my grandma spoke Spanish, all my family. Um, and so being able to sing the real thing, and the other side of that 45 was Perdóname mi amor, which is a Spanish doo-wop track from this Cuban band called Los Zafiros. To be able to do that, it was kind of a dream come true for me. It's like a real tribute to my folks, my family, my culture. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat as you guys, man. I'm third generation Mexican, right? Where my grandparents spoke Spanish. My parents, my mom and her brothers and sisters, they spoke Spanish in the 50s, but we're from Concord, right? Concord,
Yeah.
California, where it was mainly white, right? And so when they went to school, and if they spoke Spanish, they got in trouble,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm.
so they made a pact that we're not going to teach our kids no Spanish. So none of me and my cousins, none of us grew up speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
Um,
My grandfather was Mexican. That's where the name Lujan comes from. But everyone else in the family was Italian. So there was Italian spoken in my grandparents' house, but I don't even really think they ever tried to teach us any of it,
and then Pittsburgh's mainly Italian.
Yeah.
People don't get that from Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
it was back in the day. I mean,
back
Pittsburgh
in the
has,
day.
so you grew up in Concord, and so,
Yeah.
like you said, Concord, pretty white
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah,
Pittsburgh was like the only diverse city around,
right.
really,
And then I grew up in Concord, but spent a lot of time in the West. So,
Okay.
for those who don't know, the West is Bay Point, but as old schools call it the West.
West Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, West Pittsburgh. So let's get into the album, The Real Thing. So we talked about what kind of inspired the project, right? You guys got together and you said, "Hey, let's get this done." Are there any tracks on there that hit home for you guys personally? Besides The Real Thing, how many tracks are on that album?
10
10.
total.
And what is like the most personal track that you just kind of close your eyes and like, oh my God, I love this song?
I mean, honestly, for me, it probably is The Real Thing. That's the one that is just like it's the sound. But like, there's two more. My Back Hurts, like you said, my back hurts from picking up the pieces of my broken heart. I really like that one. And then Somewhere Else. And I guess the other song that I really like is I Think I'm in Love with You. Which doesn't seem to get like as much play as I would like it to, because I love that song, and it's one of the more up-tempo moving songs. But I guess if I had to pick one, it would probably just be The Real Thing, because I feel like it's very authentic sounding. Like 60s style soul with a banging outro.
Yeah, it's definitely trying to find this. I Think I'm in Love with You.
Andre, you got a favorite?
Yeah, what about you, Andre?
I mean, it's interesting because we wrote this in the middle of the pandemic, right? And well, like I wrote the lyrics and then we recorded all of that in the middle of the pandemic. And so much of the album reminds me of where I was and what I was doing during that time. So, for example, the song that I'm hearing right now is Somewhere Else. And I drew a lot of the inspiration for that driving around where I was living with my wife because I mean we couldn't go outside, right? Ain't no shows, nothing in public. But what could we do? Let's go for a ride. All right, so let's just get out of here. Let's get out of this apartment. Let's get out of where we're going. Let's just go. I don't care where we go. Let's just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let's just pick a direction and go. And so that was really important to me. That was really special. When it comes to that energy, I really love My Back Hurts, not unlike Chris said, because that was really kind of spiritual tribute to like Charles Bradley, who is one of my favorite soul singers of all time. And so I really love that. And honestly, I still really love Don't Go Acting a Fool, even though I'm not on it. Because that was the song that drew me into this in the first place, and that sound is just so crisp and so delicate but sturdy, if that makes sense. Just like it's so It's so assured, and I really really love that song. So yeah, I think those for me might be my three.
All right, nice. So one more question: when it comes to soul music, souldies, right, oldies, does the Bay Area get enough credit for the souldies?
No,
No.
no, not at all, not in the slightest. And I'm gonna say this
Go
real
ahead.
quick, Chris. I'm 100% positive you have a thought on this, but um, don't get me wrong, Los Angeles, the South Bay, all of the different areas have incredible soul bands, truly and completely. Shout out the Illusion, shout out Adrian Carmine, shout out these Souldies, shout out just all of these incredible sounds that are coming from Southern California. And there are some really, really beautiful soul bands coming out of the Bay. Um, but because they're not from Los Angeles, they're not getting that
Mhm.
same attention. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm from Whittier, California, which for my money is one of the homes of soul music and souldies in general, right? Chicano soul. Um, but just because I'm from Whittier and I do my best to embody that's not to say that there isn't really incredible soul music coming out of the Bay Area. And I think that if the scene in general was able to widen its view and take a look at what else is coming out of all of these other places, they would say, "Oh, no, there's some really incredible things coming out of Portland, coming out of Texas, coming out of the Midwest, like coming out of Florida. Like there's
Reno.
some really Reno, yes, shout out the Sextones. Like there's some incredible soul music coming out of all parts of the United States, all parts of the world, really. But and so the Bay Area, I really do feel has some incredible stuff. I mean, I'm pretty fond of Andre Cruz and Chris Lujan personally, but I think there's some really incredible sounds coming out of a lot of different places, not just Los Angeles. That's just me.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think, Chris?
I
Go ahead.
think that the Bay Area, like it's odd. The Bay Area, I could probably count on one hand the bands that I think are at a certain level, to be playing the Grease Traps, like
Hmm.
bands like that. But as far as opportunities to play in the Bay Area, there's
Yeah,
hardly any opportunities to do soul music or soldies even, especially soldies. I would say if you have a party band, you probably may be able to book more gigs. But if you're trying to do soldies and do like an authentic like soul show, it's very difficult to put shows on in the San Francisco Bay Area. Like Andre said, the South Bay, we go to San Jose, lots of love.
hmm,
Yeah.
Lots of love for Andre Cruz and Chris Lujan in the South Bay. But in San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, it's been very difficult.
yeah,
And it's been really funny because they show so much love to Lee Fields, who we had the opportunity to open for. Love Lee Fields. He's a legend, right? He is
Yeah.
making that soul music, the stuff that we're making. Like, I'm not trying to compare ourselves to him. And Lee Fields started somewhere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, they show so much love to the Altons and so much love to the Sinceres. Again, not comparing. I'm just saying we and all these other bands, the Grease Traps and others, exist within that same
Yeah.
genre, within that same world. Um, so let's bring some of these bands. And don't get me wrong, of course I would love it if it was us, but it doesn't have to be us because
Right.
there's so many. There's room at the table. There truly is room at this table for so many different sounds from so many different places. You just have to like give them a seat,
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just gonna make our own table.
Yeah. I mean, part of the issue with like people recognizing Lee Fields and the Altons and stuff like that, I say issue is because they have a machine backing them. They either have Daptone or Penrose or Coal Mine or something like that. And we have IMG down in the Los Angeles area, but up here, like we're kind of flying solo, you
mm,
know. So it's difficult. So thanks for putting on this show this Thursday.
yeah. That's what
This
I
is
was
an
gonna come to. I was
opportunity.
like, man, if it's hard to book shows, hard to book soldies, um, but we booked it,
Yeah.
right? And we have
Yeah.
it, and we are gonna, and you guys are gonna tear the stage up on Thursday. So I'm super excited to hear you.
Yeah.
What kind of feeling would you guys want the crowd to kind of leave with after they hear you guys?
Oh, they're gonna be happy. I think people leave our shows excited. That's how it seems. Like whenever we're like our show's over and we're standing around selling records or whatever, we're people want us to sign their stuff. They're just so excited. And you know what? Yeah, they should be excited here in Pittsburgh because they never get this kind of thing. You
Right.
know? So honestly, I would expect people to be happy, excited, in love.
Mm-hmm. And go out and just start Spotifying all your music and start playing it all.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the best compliments I've ever gotten as a musician. We were down in Los Angeles. We had just finished performing, and we performed the real thing. And we had like we hit it hard. Like we hit the beginning real nice and real lovely, and the end we just hit it real hard. And the person who put us on that evening came to. She's like, guys, I love that show, man. As soon as I get home, my man is gonna get it. He doesn't even know it. And I was like, yo, yes, yes. So one of the best compliments I've ever gotten.
That's why I
So
say in love.
in love. Or a little bit of lust, nothing wrong with both.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Give me a story about you guys have been together for 6 years now. What is something behind the scenes that is just like funny or crazy that you guys have been through?
There's plenty of stuff I can't talk about. I'm
Right.
sure Andre knows exactly what's crossed my mind.
How was it being on the road? You guys just came from Reno, right?
No, we'll be there in a couple weeks. We just came from the LA area, right? Or we
Yeah,
did.
that was one of our last shows down in
Yeah, we did
Slowick.
like San Luis Obispo, Costa Mesa. We did King City and Salinas.
Oh,
Those
King
are like
City. Okay,
the
slow.
recent
Yeah.
ones we did. And we did those ones as a duo, so it was a little bit different. But in Costa Mesa and San Luis Obispo, we had the Sextones with us, which we just mentioned. They're in Reno. I said Reno. Andre said, shout out to Sextones. I'll tell you, this happened on stage, but so I'll tell you this.
Okay.
Like I said, me and Andre went out as a duo. And so like I'm playing guitar, Andre's singing, and we were playing in Costa Mesa. It's the first night with the Sextones, and the Sextones backed us 2 years prior. We went on tour with the Sextones, and they were our backing band as well. So they knew our music. So me and Andre are on stage, and we start playing the last song of the set, which is The Real Thing. And we start playing it, and I see out of the corner of my eye that they're starting to come on stage. And now I just assumed, oh, they have to start. As soon as we're done, they have to start because it's a like hard stop at 9:00 for the next show. And we get into the first verse of the song and bap, boom, boom. And all of a sudden the Sextones are playing with us.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, it was because we didn't expect it at all. We didn't talk about it. And it was just so lovely. It was great. Come to find out, they were like so scared. They thought like, are they going to be mad if we do this? It was so welcome. So welcome. That's one of my favorite things about what we've done, and it's recent, so it's in my head.
What about you, Andre? You got anything that just stands out?
Yeah, I got a couple. So for me, the two that I'll offer. The first one was as I mentioned, we've had the opportunity to play with Lee Fields a couple of times, and shout out to Lee Fields and all those people. Like, such an incredible dude. But we played the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, opening for Lee Fields. And we get up there, we're doing our thing, and it's a big venue. It's a big, incredible, classic venue, and it's full of people who I assume want to see Lee Fields. And honestly, getting to perform ahead of him, yo, that's a blessing. I'm a happy man. Like, you don't have to know anything that we do. Like, just stand there and dig what we do, and then here comes Lee Fields. And so we're singing somewhere else. And I can hear people harmonizing from the audience. And I'm just like, we're here at a Lee Fields show and people are singing back to us.
Yeah.
And just like, oof. They're like, I do try to keep it together, but man, that was a cheesing moment. The other thing that comes
Hold
to mind.
on, because I want to talk specifically about that show.
Go on.
Here's some behind the scenes stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
When Lee Fields comes to town, they not only do they want a band to open for them, but they want like They want to use your equipment, and they want vintage equipment. They want a real Hammond organ, a real Leslie speaker. You know, like they want everything vintage. You can't bring a fake new keyboard that sounds like a Hammond organ. No, you need a Hammond organ, right? So for this trip, our keyboard player was actually, I think he was in Mexico at the time. So I brought my Hammond organ, and we could not get it started.
Oh, no.
We got it on stage. It worked the night before, because the night before we were in Ventura, and it worked there. But now all of a sudden we're on stage at the Great American Music Hall. Everything is on stage. We're setting up. The sound man's miking and everything, and we cannot get the Hammond organ to start. And so I call up his name's Gary Pittman. I call him up, and he's in Mexico, and I'm like, hey man, like, because I don't know anything about how these things work, the inner working, but he does. So, but like, he couldn't really help me, and I guess he was in Mexico, so he was already like tipping him back. And so finally, they were calling around trying to find out where they could rent one from, and like, will they have it here in time, and how much is it, whatever. And I was so stressed, because like, it was my Hammond organ, and I brought all of this stuff and promised them, here, this is gonna work.
You're all excited.
Yeah. And so I like kept messing with it. And I actually like it's from the 50s. I just grabbed the piece and kind of went, and all of a sudden it fired up. And it was like, cancel the rental. Like, we got it. Don't turn it off. Just leave it on. It was stressful.
Oh man.
That's some behind the scenes stuff that no one would see, because it happened before the doors open. Andre, your second thing.
It's all right. That was good. That was better.
It's funny. I got one. The last time I was at the California Theater, right? I was DJing for a comedy show, and I was playing. I opened the show. I was playing all the hits, right? And then they said, okay, we're gonna go to you. We're gonna put the spotlight on you with like 5 minutes to go, and then you're gonna play, right? And I'm just kind of playing without even really worrying, just playing songs. And then they go, okay, we're coming to you with the spotlight. Spotlight comes on me, and my MacBook went into a rainbow wheel.
Oh no!
I was like, I was texting, please just take over the music, because they have music.
Better stop
upstairs,
beatboxing, dog.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's when you need to bring records.
Yeah, I never DJ without my iPad next to me now. From now on, you know, my backup source. But yeah, that was some behind the scenes hopes. Luckily at California Theater, they had music already queued up, and so they just played music while I got situated, and I pretend like I was DJing
right
at the moment.
That's good.
So yeah, those behind the scene things, man. It's something that it'll stop your heart. It'll stop your heart.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
a second. People
think, people come to the show and they think, oh, this is it. They come out, they play for 45 minutes or an hour. It's like, they don't realize all that goes into it, and like all of the drama backstage, and like, oh no, I hope everything works. I hope everyone catches their cues. I hope, like, there's so much,
Yeah.
So good. So look, I'm going to let you guys go, because we said 20 minutes. So you asked me earlier. I said, hey, we're going to go 20, 30 minutes. But
it is what it is.
We just roll. We're just going to keep rolling, right? And so,
all good.
And I think we got some great information from you guys. The people who are going to go back and watch this, they're going to know that you guys love this music, right?
Oh yeah.
What does Souldies mean to you? What is oldie? What does soul mean to you? Let's start with you, Chris. What does soul mean to you, man? How does it affect you?
I guess it gets in my bones and makes my feet move. I guess, I don't know. That's a cheesy answer, but soul music, I don't know. It's just like, it's feeling, like it's just deep feeling. And then, like the word Souldies came from, it's called Souldies After Dark, right? Just so everyone knows, the word Souldies actually means like new music that is meant to sound like oldies. Yeah. That's where Souldies comes from. So you can expect, fresh music, although we will touch on some old, some songs you may know from back in the day. So we're going to be playing some, like I said, it's love music. That's soul. Love music. It's also protest music.
Yeah. Old school Chicano music. right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where we come from. You know. So what about you, Andre? What does this whole experience mean to you?
So I mean, number one, like Chris, that was a really great response. Like, I don't know that I'll be able to um, say much more beyond that, but I mean, for me, it's music that makes me feel seen. You know, it's music for me as a black man, as a Chicano man, that almost bridges the gap of those cultures, right? That brings it all together, that comes together in a way where folks can say, I know that, I've been there, I've had my heart broken, I've fallen in love to the point where I just want to scream it from the rooftops, you know, and like let everybody know how stoked I am. I've been in a situation where I want to just like try to play it cool, but I can't quite play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for me, that is what soul means to me is these moments and these opportunities to truly express yourself and to truly share something special with the person next to you, even if you haven't met them before, you know. And so what I really strive to do on stage and what I try to write to and what I think we as a band really try to do is to make music that makes us feel the way that that old school sound made us feel, right? Or and makes the audience feel the way that we felt back then. You know, I think back to the incredible soul shows where I've been in the audience, just my eyes are huge, my jaw's on the ground, or my feet are moving, and I'm just like, that is what I want. And that is what I feel like we try to give to others is just that raw emotion, you know, of love, of pain, of recognizing that the world outside can be really hard, um, but we're in it together, you know, and so that for me is what soul means and looks like.
Man, that's beautiful. You know, and as you were talking, I kept thinking about your inspiration to Stevie Wonder, and what came to my mind is my Sherry
Yeah,
O'Connor,
man.
right? Just I mean that stuff
Yeah,
just gets to you when
it
you
grabs
sing
you.
it. You kind of remember where you were when that song came out, what the
Mhm.
weather was like. Was it cold? Was it warm? You know,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like, and then I'm listening to your voice on these songs, and I'm playing in the background, and I'm like, oh my God, that is just it's beautiful, right?
Hmm. Thank you. I
Just
appreciate
the
that.
whole concept that you guys put together with the production and the vocals all together, it's just beautiful music, and I can't wait till Pittsburg, California sees and hears what you guys put on stage and what they could come out to, and how does it feel when people come up to you now and say, "Hey, I want to take a picture with you. I loved your stuff. I want to take a picture. Can you sign this autograph?" How does it feel, and how long until you guys can't go to Walmart anymore?
Well, that the second part of that question, I have no idea when when that will take place, because like, you know, we're only, as far as I know, I'm only taking pictures and signing autographs at shows. No one's coming up to me on the streets. Although I did have somebody hit me up and was like, I saw you at the mall, but I didn't want to bother you.
Right.
Hey,
But
dope.
yeah, but oh, what was the first part of that question?
That's how's it feel when people
Oh,
want to take pictures with you and stuff?
it I guess I'm used to it now, and it always does feel great. But I was in a band before this one called the M-Tet, and it was just an instrumental quartet. I guess I shouldn't say just a. It was an instrumental quartet, but it wasn't until like me and Andre started doing shows together where it's like people want our picture and our autographs. So it
Mhm.
was very weird at first for me, because like I'd never dealt with that before. Or if I did, it was very rarely, where someone would buy records off of my website and say, "Can you sign them?" or something like that. But it's a whole thing now, like I'm also like the one kind of like selling records most of the time. So it's like, we sell a record, and then I could see that someone else wants to buy a record, but we have to like stop and sign it and take a picture. And I'm like seeing the person who still wants
You're
to
like,
buy one.
hold on, don't leave, don't leave.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I love it because that means people are affected by what we're doing, you know, but it did take some getting used to.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot because back in my history when I was working promotions, and we used to do a lot of in stores back in the day, like Tower Records and Rasputin Records and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And I would bring the artists, and just people would just flock into them. I was like, man, I was always been behind the scenes, and I've always wanted to sing. That was always my dream. So I really look up to a lot of singers, but unfortunately, I just got a radio voice, and so I can't sing.
Hey, at least it's something.
Yeah. And before we go, I got to say a big shout out to our sponsors for the show, right? So we got a few sponsors. We got SA Skate, which is Fern, our buddy. He's a tattoo artist. He has his own skateboard line. He also sells glasses. Hair Do or Die in Do or Die Hair Studio in Concord, California, and also R&S Detail. So they come around and they'll detail your cars. It's great. And just for you guys and for everybody else, Mountain Mike's on Atlantic Boulevard here in Pittsburgh is gonna cater the backstage. So if you guys got something special, some special kind of pizza you guys want, let me know. Chris has my number, right? Tell me what you guys want. I'll send it to them, and they're bringing pizza and salad.
Careful what you wish for.
So shout out Mountain Mike's, man. You know,
Absolutely.
Salisa over there, she always takes care of us from Pittsburgh football all the way to anything that we're doing in Pittsburgh. They got a new location opening up on San Marcos.
Oh, they do, yeah.
So get ready for that grand opening. But yeah, I am so excited about seeing you guys. This is actually the Us Two Entertainment. This is our kickoff show, right? Amador and myself have decided to get into this promotion business. I come from a radio background, and I'm a DJ, so I've always been at shows. I've always wanted to put on shows. Amador has a lot of hookups everywhere else. I mean, he got you guys, right? And so between him and me, and everybody we know, we're hoping that this is not going to be the last show. This is our first. This is our inaugural show, right? And you guys are a part of that. We're forever going to remember that Andre Cruz and Chris Lujan kicked off our very first show when we're booking Beyonce in a few years, and we're booking whoever the biggest and baddest artists are coming, right? With Andre Cruz and Chris Lujan always on our mind. Right?
Absolutely.
So
see, people got to come to support, you know, like people are trying to do stuff. You're trying to do this thing, you know, like this is the first one. People have to come support so that there could be a next one.
Yes. And so we're going to try to do something at the California Theater, maybe every other car show, maybe once a month. Right. And so just keep posted. We're going to be out there. We're going to be promoting. And Chris, you've been doing a great job on Facebook.
I got another one coming.
You know, so I love what you're putting out there, Andre. And I just requested you as a friend on Facebook. So now we're friends on Facebook.
I just added you, yeah.
Yes. So we're good to go. So I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. What last messages for anybody out there that you got for them if they haven't bought that ticket yet?
Pittsburgh. I'm looking at you. I'm right here. I am Pittsburgh. Come to the show. Support. Like you said, Pittsburgh supports Pittsburgh. We need Pittsburgh to come support Pittsburgh on Thursday, the 29th. Yep. California Theater.
And so if anybody's out there wondering, but I got my lowrider car out here. I got my car. We have made it so we're closing the street until 10 p.m. So you can park your cars right in front of the California Theater and come on in. Nobody's going to mess with your cars. You can go. You got in and out privileges. You can go out if you want, but we got an open bar and it's all ages. So bring your kids, right?
Yeah.
School is out. There's no school on Friday. Bring your kids.
Ain't no excuses.
This sounds like San Jose. It sounds like you're bringing San Jose to Pittsburgh, especially with the cars out front and the whole thing. It's like, this is what we see. Like when we went to the American Homeboy premiere in San Francisco, me and Andre have a couple songs in the American Homeboy documentary. Lowriders out front of the theater. Like we're bringing this to Pittsburgh in a real way.
Yeah. And so, in fact, I would even encourage you guys to get there early, shoot some B-roll for your next music video. Right. So
let's do it.
Take advantage of the car show out front. Take advantage of the California Theater. That's some beautiful B-roll with you guys on the marquee. Yeah. Right. Beautiful B-roll. Now we're just going into the thought phase, right? Of what's next for you guys. Right. So
that's right.
You guys need a promoter. You got me. I'm here, right? I'm always
Yeah,
thinking.
well, let's
All
talk
right.
about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I can dig that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. All right. Hey, it's great talking to you guys. We'll see you Thursday. I can't wait to meet you in person, and I can't wait to listen to your sound and watch you guys perform.
It's going to be a
Thank you
great
so much,
show.
my friend. Really appreciate you. I just want to say real quick, none of this happens without community. So community, we thank you for the time that you've given us thus far. We cannot wait to see you all on Thursday. Chris is the king of Pittsburgh. Come on now, it's going to be a good one. I can't wait to see all that. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
King of Pittsburgh. All right. We'll see you guys later. And I'll
All
talk
right,
to you
thank you.
guys. See you on
Take
Thursday.
care, everybody.
See you later. Souldies After Dark this Thursday.